Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Technical Sergeant Medina, and on behalf of the men and women of the 819th Red Horse Squadron, welcome to the ceremony where we pay tribute to Senior Master Sergeant Rigo Vasquez's distinguished career. On this occasion of his retirement after 24 years of loyal and dedicated service to the United States Air Force, our presiding official for today's ceremony is Lieutenant Colonel Justin Delort. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the 819th Horsemen, the singing of our national anthem by Tech Sergeant Whittington, and the invocation by Chaplain Pitts.
Present the colors.
Private shoulder. Forward. Top. Oh. Present.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes in bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward. No, turn.
Please join me in praying according to your faith tradition as I pray according to mine. Mighty God, we give you thanks for raising up warriors who promote what is good and avenge what is wrong. Faithful servants who bear the sword not for self, but on behalf of others. Airmen like Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez, who has served as his nation's sentry and avenger for these 24 years, and whom we have the privilege of honoring today. You have said, whoever brings blessing will be enriched, and whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. No doubt over his lengthy career, Senior Vasquez has blessed many, coaching, mentoring, and leading his peers and teams. And this he has done with the aid of his wife and children, for whom we also express our gratitude. And while we trust he and they have been enriched and they've been refreshed during their military service, we pray for an exceeding time of refreshment during retirement. As they transition to the next stage in life, taking the next step in the path you have set before them, may you bless them. Guide them, lead them forward into tomorrow in your strength and wisdom. And in time, grant Senior new opportunities for service and fulfilling work that satisfies the desires of his heart. All of this we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Horseman, Tech Sergeant Whittington, and Chaplain Pitts. It is now my pleasure to introduce some special guests. Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez's wife, Margaret. His kids, Jasmine, Ayana, and Adrian. His parents, Rigo and Cruz, sister Veronica, and brother Frank, and all his extended family and friends here in attendance today. On behalf of Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez and his family, we extend a warm welcome to all commanders, deputy commanders, chiefs, superintendents, co-workers, and friends. Thank you for taking time to be here with us today. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our squadron commander, Lieutenant Colonel Smith, for a few remarks.
All right, now that I have my notes up, first of all, thank you, Medina. Thank you to everyone who came out to honor Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez on this truly special day. I promised him I would keep this short and sweet, but he knows firsthand that I always fail when I say that. I can be a little long-winded at times, and that I'm fully aware, but I promise. I also promised Lieutenant Colonel Delort that I would not steal any of the thunder from his speech, because he has truly the right words to honor Senior Vasquez on the momentous event of his retirement. So, the theme for mine is thanks. Thank you, Rigo. I took the flag over from Lieutenant Colonel Delort here for the 819th on the 1st of July, and so I have only been able to know Rigo for about just under 5 months now. But he stepped up and was my acting senior enlisted leader for the squadron, worked with me side by side every day and some weekends for the last, I'd say, 4 months until our deployers returned and Chief Mitchell took the seat over from him, which I know he was very thankful for, so we could finally start out processing to get ready for today. Rigo, thank you. I mean that so deeply and sincerely. I only wish that we had had more time to get to work together, know each other, and continue for the difference that you have been making in the lives of the men and women of the 819th Red Horse Squadron. So thank you very much for everything. When it comes to Senior Vasquez, you'll probably hear several words talked over and over in several of these speeches that have already been hit on. But the things that first come to my mind is coach in all aspects of his life, whether it be his family and his children, whether it be the folks in this squadron, or whether it be the folks in the wing. He's a mentor. He is the person that anyone can come up to and talk to face, behind closed doors or open doors, about just about any aspect of their life. And they know that he will sit there, listen to them compassionately, then also give the right advice that they need to hear, even if it's not necessarily what they want to hear at that time. The embodiment of a mentor. Friend. Senior Vasquez, Rigo, is one of the best friends a person could have. He holds you accountable. Sometimes we'll make sure he does that with a laugh at the end of it. We first bonded in our friendship, not only from working office to office next to each other, but commiserating together as both being Dallas Cowboys fans. And we all know that this year is one that is a new meaning. But of those three words, coach, mentor, and friend, they are all important, they are all significant. But friend is the one that is hard to do while also being the first two. To strike that balance talks about the character of Rigo, his capability, not who he is only as an airman and as a senior NCO of the United States Air Force, but as a man. He is one of the finest individuals that I have had the honor to work with and to serve with, and I know that I can speak on behalf of everyone in this room. We are going to miss you here at the 819th Red Horse Squadron, and it is unfortunately the Air Force's loss at your retirement. On the theme of thankfulness, Rigo is the man he is today because of the family that helped mold him into that. So thank you to your parents, Rigo and Cruz, your sister and brother, Veronica and Frank, your kids, Jasmine, Ayana, and Adrian, and also, most importantly, I would argue, your wife, Margaret. 24 years active duty service in the Air Force is no easy road. The fact that you were able to do it and keep your family together is that much more of a testament to who you are as a person and your priorities. If it was not for y'all coming here, showing your support as you have for his entire life, we would not have been able to benefit from the man that Rigo is. So thank you very much for everything that you have done to make him who he is so that he could make us who we are. So with that, I'll end it there, kind of short and sweet, and end it with Rigo, once again, my sincere thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal, 1st Oak Leaf Cluster.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. This is to certify that the Meritorious Service Medal, 1st Oak Leaf Cluster, is awarded to Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez for meritorious service, 8 July 2021 to 1 June 2025. Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Superintendent, Mission Support Flight, while assigned to the 819th Red Horse Squadron, 800th Red Horse Group, Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. During this period, Senior Vasquez excelled while leading 76 airmen, $14 million of equipment, and the unit's readiness training. Under his exceptional influence, he guaranteed the execution of 137 deployment taskings and polished the squadron to be the highest-rated mission-ready airman unit in all of Air Combat Command. Additionally, Senior Vasquez displayed great fortitude while responding to a suicide member. He successfully coerced the member's weapon and transferred the individual to emergency care to save their life. Finally, Senior Vasquez thrived as senior enlisted leader, leading the unit for 4 months and rescuing Minot's damaged airfield. His outstanding effort resulted in him earning the unit's 2022 Saijan and Tuskegee Awards, in addition to his 15th Air Force Senior Non-Commissioned Officer of the Quarter Award. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our presiding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Deloret. Please be seated.
Hi, Red Horse. It's good to be back. Thank you for the opportunity to come back out. Here we go. It's good to see so many familiar faces. About half of you weren't here the last time I was on the stage, so it's good to get to see you all again one more time. So there's a blessing just in that, and thanks to the ALS team for being out here too. Lots of familiar faces out there, including some Red Horse folks going through the class. I see you guys back there. Like I said, it's great to be back in Montana and in the stable of the 819th. This place looks great. No better sound than hearing that HVAC just kick on full blast. Nice and warm in here. This is, after all, as I'm sure we'll hear in your Royal Order of the Horse, the best of all the damn horse stables that there is in the Air Force. You guys knew that when you went out to Guam. The team that stayed back here, you knew that. It's the best. It's always a great honor to be asked to preside over someone's retirement, and especially someone you've known for a number of years. I feel especially well-equipped to speak on Rigo, given that I've known him in the place that bears all souls, Kunsan Air Base. But we'll get there. Before I get on with canonizing Rigo, I want to re-acknowledge a few people who are here that are very important to him, who traveled in from out of town. Rigo's mom and dad, Cruz and Rigo Sr., thank you for being here. His sister Veronica and brother Frankie, I know they called you Frank, but I'm going to call you Frankie because that sounds cooler. Thank you for making the trip. It never fails that the weather shows up just about the time we have people come in for a large event. I appreciate the fact that it's not easy to get here, especially to Great Falls, so thank you. I'd also like to recognize Rigo's wife, Margaret. You and I had the chance to talk, and your beautiful children, Jasmine and the twins, Adrian and Ayana. Over the 2 years I spent with Rigo here at Malmstrom, I've admired his dedication to you all with multiple trips back to San Antonio during times of need, and continuously basking in the glory of watching Ayana hit dingers from the office on Saturdays. I've seen many of them. I know he's incredibly proud of each of you, and despite the unenviable geobatch situation that you've all endured for the past several years, I think you have all navigated it well. Thank you for your sacrifice. Okay, so on to Rigo. Rigo is a native San Antonian through and through. And despite being raised in what some might call the epicenter of the Air Force, Rigo was the first in his family to actually join the Air Force. Now, he and Margaret met during their freshman year of high school and have been essentially inseparable ever since, outside of the separations driven by the Air Force. Rigo decided to join the Air Force as a way to avoid school. That's kind of a common story, and told me that he had no clue what he was getting himself into. It's always a good idea to just send it on big decisions. I know that from firsthand. Moreover, Rigo came in open general and found out about halfway through basic training that he was going to be classified as an entomologist. Like many, I would imagine, he needed to pull out an encyclopedia to find out exactly what he was going to be doing for the Air Force. Originally, as I wrote this speech with a double shot of Jack Daniels, I wrote Google that, but this was back in 2000, so we likely weren't in a situation to GTS that one. All the same, Rigo graduates from basic and he's off to Shepherd Tech School, where he learns how to kill bugs, mongooses that he'll face in Korea, and become the master of additional duties before he's off to his first duty station at Eglin. Between tech school and Eglin, Rigo and Margaret are married. In a somewhat unorthodox move, though, the Air Force decided that he and Margaret should only spend 1 year at Eglin, because in 2002, Airman Vasquez and Margaret ended up with orders to Aviano, Italy. I asked him how he ended up there, and he told me it was really just a function of not having updated his dream sheet from basic and tech school days. You know what they say about luck and timing. He and Margaret certainly made the best of it, staying at Aviano for 7 years. During that time, Rigo would promote to staff, deploy to Manas in 2007, and he and Margaret would welcome Jasmine in 2002 and the twins in 2005, just mere seconds apart. Rigo, I was thinking about this. Could you absolutely have imagined when the two of you got to Aviano, all of those things transpiring in just 7 years? It's pretty crazy. Anyway, in 2009, Rigo and the family pick up orders to Malmstrom, where Rigo would be a member of the 341st Civil Engineer Squadron. Boo. During that time, Rigo would make tech, and he reflects on that time, and I have permission to talk about this, as the one and only time in his career where he received paperwork. Shortly before Rigo left in 2011, he had been responsible for the unit's weapons vault, which is typical for entomologists, right? Because in one of the driest, coldest places on Earth, the bug game here is not really that strong. Prairie dogs, yes, but not the bug game, so they have to find a way to fill your plate. Well, due to a simple omission on his part, the vault was left unsecured for an amount of time that enabled the powers that be to find out. I'm trying to say that as nicely as possible. It seems that the going rate at time was the notorious Article 15, which Rigo fully expected and had accepted that he was going to receive. However, Rigo had performed expertly otherwise during his time at Malmstrom, and the commander at the time knocked it down to an LOR. On his way out the door to Kunsan in 2011, the commander at the time handed him a signed copy of the LOR, also known as removing it from his record, and handed him his signed decoration. There is something to be said about understanding the difference between accountability and outcomes. They aren't always equal. And it's a good thing for the Air Force that it played out that way, because Rigo needed someone to officiate his retirement. And if it turns out differently, maybe we don't link up at Kunsan. Who knows? And the ironic thing about all of this is, as good as he was as an entomologist, he made it all the way through the mid-NCO tier that way. And as poor as he was as a weapons watcher and an additional duty guy, this would be the last time he meaningfully touched bug stuff and really set him on a trajectory that would change his career as he would continually broaden. Anyway, Rigo ends up at Kunsan between 2011 and 2012, where we overlap for the first time. Rigo was a fixture of service contracts at Kunsan, working with the likes of now separated Lieutenant Luke Johansson and the infamous Spider. That's a person, not a bug. You can imagine, if you haven't been to Korea, that service contracts for refuse, custodial grounds, the big three for all my engineers out there, are not so similar to those contracts we have in the States. So it's a busy job hiring, firing, and rehiring the same contractors who would cut the entire base with weed whackers, and working alongside the mafia-like custodian network of ajumas that would keep you in a constant supply of kimchi, though you didn't want it, and black bean rice cakes that you didn't want that could easily be mistaken for chocolate. Those who've been there know. Rigo and his service contracts crew were also notorious surfboard kleptos, and I think upon his departure, he hoped he'd be back at some point. Well, the time at Kunsan has to end, and in 2012, Rigo and the family head back to Europe, this time to Ramstein, where he again dodges bug duty and is selected to be an NCOA instructor. And in all seriousness, if you speak to Rigo, you get that sense. It was almost like you were with me as I was having that double shot yesterday. If you speak to him, you get this notion that he possesses some of those indelible instructor traits and communication skills that I think made him successful as he became a senior NCO. It also gave him, as he said, unfettered access to the perspectives of other AFSCs. It's kind of good that y'all are in here today too, and lenses and aspects into different leadership styles and tendencies in the Air Force. Experiences that would serve him well when he came to our diverse unit, or rather your diverse unit here at Malmstrom and Red Horse. Well, he made Master Sergeant out of NCOA and was able to snag another go at Aviano and successfully dodged a stateside assignment and bug duty yet again. Between 2016 and 2021, Rigo was the unit SAPM, ran the CSS, was the UTM, and then ran R&O for a year before ascending to be the infrastructure superintendent. You'll recognize that until he started in R&O, if you're kind of keeping up, it had been nearly 6 years between jobs in the ops flight for Rigo. Well done. Well, as success goes, the higher you climb, the fewer your opportunities tend to be. So Rigo faced a tough choice, and one that really forced him to strike a balance between family and career. With Jasmine already out of the house, working on her degree between LSU and UTSA, go Roadrunners, and the twins seriously involved in high-level softball and baseball, Rigo and Margaret made the tough decision to geobatch. Rigo coming to the 819th, avoiding Barksdale, solid choice, which allowed Margaret and the kids to return to San Antonio, where the opportunities for the three of them would be many, and it would put them closer to home. It also afforded Rigo the ability to pursue the most lucrative side hustle of all time, schlepping pizzas for Domino's. I still can't look at a Volvo XC90 T5 and not think of Rigo rolling through the gate, like in the gate, 10 minutes after the duty day is over with that Domino's light on top of his car. All kidding aside, that extra time spent delivering afforded him time and Adrian time to pursue the opportunities that are their mutual passion, sports cards and tennis shoes. That's the love of a dad, spending his extra time making that cash to be able to do that. And sometimes you just gotta hope for the Wemby rookie pool, right? Having the twins in San Antonio paid off. It allowed them to excel in the classroom and have exposure to robust recruiting that the area offered. They both moved on to college, where they play an extremely high level, and if you don't know that, just ask Rigo, he'll tell you all about it. Between 2021 and 2024, Rigo's talents as a leader and really the skills he developed stepping outside his career field stovepipe served him and the 819th well. In the midst of one of the largest reorganizations of Red Horse in modern times, Rigo was a leader on construction team, served in P&E, eventually leading the flight alongside local legend and taco treat aficionado, now Major Joey Lahotsky. It also put him at the helm of mission support and ultimately made him the SEL during the deployment in 24-2. He was ultimately promoted to Senior Master Sergeant, and as you can see by the number of moves we made with him over those 4 years, we valued his strong pivot game, kind of like Wemby. And all while he's moving offices and learning new jobs and moonlighting in the XC90, he's making several trips back to San Antonio to work through some really tough family issues. And in classic on-again, off-again Air Force assignment cycle fashion, you also navigated that. Ultimately, that was a lot to handle, Rigo, and you did it with a lot of grace. I know it wasn't always easy for you and your family, but you have the uncanny ability to navigate issues with a calm and poise that I envy. You've always got some sage advice, and you aren't afraid to enforce standards without bruising egos. Those are valuable big league traits, and I think you've cultivated that through the diversity of your career. Now, it's no surprise Rigo is leaving the 819th and eventually heading back to San Antonio, of course, where he'll study in an executive program before looking for something more permanent. I was happy to hear that he has multiple offers, which is fantastic. He and Margaret are looking forward to traveling back to Italy. I hear they have a place to stay if Chris Carey and his backpack are there. I think they're going to stay at your house. And I think they plan on a trip to Bali here pretty soon. Add that to the list of 25 countries you've already visited. Ultimately, he and Margaret are ready to be empty nesters besides the cats, and Rigo's last official act on base will be as the keynote speaker for the ALS class he's mentoring on the 20th of December. I think that's a poetic end, and I've seen it before, Sean Slayman. You have a lot of knowledge, and you have a lot of experience to share, and I'm sure these folks are benefiting from that. Rigo, all of the skill and traits you've learned and cultivated over the last 24 years, I think it's the balance you found between work and life that's most impressive, and I hope people take away. Among your many accomplishments, you and Margaret found a way to raise 3 happy, successful children, providing them access to an unreal amount of life and cultural experiences, and you both found time to support your extended families. You should walk away with an immense sense of pride in everything you and your family have achieved. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak today. As always, it's a pleasure to return to Montana. I wish you the best, and to the horse.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Delort. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez Retirement Order. Lieutenant Colonel Delort will now officially retire Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez. Sir, permission to publish the order.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Special order number Alpha Charlie 016008. Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez, Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. Effective 31 May 2025, you are relieved from active duty. 819th Red Horse Squadron, Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana. Retired effective 1 June 2025 per AFI 363203 in the grade of Senior Master Sergeant by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Please be seated. Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez will now be presented with the Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. The certificate reads, "To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of June 2025. Signed, David W. Alvin, General, United States Air Force Chief of Staff, and Lieutenant Colonel Justin D. Delort." Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez will now be presented with the Certificate of Appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. The certificate reads, "I am proud to join your friends and family in congratulating you on your retirement from the United States Air Force. The achievements and contributions you have made throughout your career are indicative of the core values of our great service. Your retirement is well deserved, but your selflessness, contributions will be sorely missed. On behalf of all airmen, thank you for your faithful and devoted service to our nation. As this chapter in your life closes and a new one begins, I hope the years ahead are filled with more great memories and continued success. Signed, David A. Flossie, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force." Sergeant Vasquez is now presented a Certificate of Appreciation from the President of the United States. The certificate reads, "Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez, I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud tradition of the military service. I trust that in the coming years, you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future." Signed, 45th President Joe Biden. It is tradition that the family of a retiring military member affix the Air Force retirement pin. Margaret, will you please do the honors? This pin will serve as a reminder to all that Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez has earned his retirement and remains a member of the Air Force. Only now he serves in retired status. Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez, please wear this pin proudly on any occasion you may represent the United States Air Force. Margaret will now receive a Certificate of Appreciation from the Air Force in special recognition of her personal contributions to the Air Force and our nation. The certificate reads, "In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate to Margaret Vasquez for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for your support, which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service." Signed, David W. Alvin, General, United States Air Force, Chief of Staff, and Justin D. Delort. Margaret will now be presented with a Certificate of Appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. The certificate reads, "On behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Margaret Vasquez. I join your spouse, family, and friends in thanking you for the numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service in defense of our nation." Signed, David A. Flossie, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. At this time, we ask Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez kids to join their dad on the stage. Jasmine, Ayana, and Adrian will now receive a certificate of appreciation from the Air Force in special recognition of their personal contributions to the Air Force and our nation. The certificate reads, "Thank you for your outstanding love, support, understanding, and kindness shown for your father and his career upon his retirement. As a child of a military member, we understand and appreciate all the sacrifices you have made while he served our country. He has served proudly and professionally while maintaining a career and family throughout the good as well as the difficult times. We, the proud members of the United States Air Force, are grateful to you and commend your superb efforts, assistance, and personal sacrifices given over the years. Please continue to give him the support and love he deserves as he leaves the Air Force and embarks on a new way of life. Signed, Barry E. Little, Colonel, Commander, 341st Missile Wing." Thank you, Margaret, Jasmine, Ayana, and Adrian. You may now return to your seats. Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez, you have dedicated 24 years of your life to sustain the freedom which the flag of the United States of America represents, and you've never flinched or lost sight of the ideas it stands for. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the 819th Squadron will now perform a very special flag folding ceremony in Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez's honor.
For more than 200 years, the American flag has been a symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14th, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the Stars and Stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our United States Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is our responsibility to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave, so let the bugle blow, fire the evening gun, slowly lower the colors, my retirement has begun. Retired effective June 1st, 2025.
At this time, I would like to invite any sections or flights up if you have something to present Senior Master Sergeant.
I know, right? Hey, Rigo, on behalf of what's on there, we want to thank you for all your dedication and hard work, especially while we were gone. So, enjoy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, we got a hug.
Got an ammo camp and logistics. Only known you a short while, but you made a lasting impression on me. Thank you for your leadership, mentorship, and friendship. Congratulations.
Yeah. You put your blood, sweat, and tears in this squadron, man. I appreciate your friendship, your counsel, your honesty. I'm gonna live for it. Sure. Appreciate it.
Where you go?
Lord, as I was on my way here today, found this. It's very rare, and then it made me think of a Snapple fun fact. Jake Paul has more wins in Cowboy Stadium than the Cowboys in this year, so.
Can I get all of QA up here? Come on, guys. Bring it up.
We don't even exist anymore.
So, this guy right here, he's a leader like no other. In leading our section, sitting down with us and guiding us over a couple of years there, I have never had any leader that operates the same way he does. He is very subtle, he's very direct, he'll get you right back on course, and he will do it without pulling the pride out of you. He instills it, he builds it. Completely, utterly, what we got to do in QA is call people out. So he is truly an example of what we needed to do and what we needed to embody. So just want to say thank you. Truly appreciate it for all you've done.
Appreciate it, last.
Thank you, Robert.
So we got you something, a little, tiny little token of our appreciation. On behalf of the mission support flight and PD, we appreciate all your guidance, your leadership. And of course, can't be unsaid, the fastest delivery, pizza delivery.
Oh, for sure. I'm speed. I'm speed.
So appreciate everything you've done.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. No, for sure. Thank you.
All right. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and for those of you that recognize me, we were just deployed out there at the ECAG, so I'm pretty sure I've talked to many of you guys. For those who don't recognize me, I'm Senior Master Joseph Ortiz. I'm out of Yokohama, and this is my dog. This is my. So, sir, when you were talking about Aviano, what you missed was a lot of the really good times that we had together. And aside from him being a Cowboys fan, I'm a Redskins fan, now Commanders. But we've had some hell of times, man. And going back to Aviano, Marie, and the kids, we'd love to be here. I told them, I was like, the only thing that would keep me out of here was a blizzard. And I beat it, so. But Marie and the kids, they send their love, appreciation, thanks. Love you and the family.
Hey, top three, come on up. Top three, let's go.
There used to be like 5 of us. Now we're so big.
The radio on stage. See, I don't think there's one.
All right. On behalf of the top 3 of the 819th Red Horse Squadron, we would like to thank you for your selfless leadership, your mentorship, and your camaraderie. You've also been an excellent. You're good. I know I'm soft-spoken. I apologize. But on behalf of the 819th Red Horse Squadron, from the top 3, for your leadership, mentorship, camaraderie, as well as just being a good coach, being a good mentor. He's been absolutely awesome the entire time I've been here. We went ahead and had his weapon powder-coated red. It's been engraved, sketched, good to go. I hope you like this, you cherish it, on behalf of all of us that are up here, so thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. See y'all in a little bit. Little beer or something. Big B. Hey.
At this time, we will induct Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez into the Distinguished Order of the Horse. A1C Drog, will you please do the honors?
Okay.
Greetings to all those present shall come. Whereabouts Senior Master Sergeant Rigo Vasquez Jr. is awarded a lifetime membership, whether he wants it or not, in the Royal Order of the Horse in recognition of having resided for the past 3.5 years in 819th stable and having assimilated the knowledge that is the best of all horse stables, whether he believes it or not, and having demonstrated outstanding proficiency before juries composed and heavy doers of deeds of the horse, lifetime member, coach, is now qualified to sally forth into a disbelieving world to espouse veracity and confidence while watching the seasons change or other worldly endeavors, whereupon, by virtue of no authority, the recognition is conferred the first day of June in the year of the Lord 2025. Signed, Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Smith, Head Jockey. Thank you, A1C Justin Drog. At this time, we invite retired Senior Master Sergeant Slayman and all white hat wearers to come forward and present Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez with his official white hat and membership into the Order of the White Hat.
Yes. Is this in order?
It's got number on it still.
It even tells me what to do. It tells me what to do. All right, first, Rigo, thank you for this honor. Flying all the way off from New York to read this. It's a privilege. Certificate reads, bear witness. You guys ready?
Yep. Yeah, whatever you got.
Bear witness that Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez, having consistently demonstrated the highest levels of initiative, integrity, leadership, and boldness, resourcefulness, faithfulness, reliability, technical knowledge, military spirit, dedication of duty, loyalty to comrades, and exemplifying the finest traditions of Red Horse, is forever honored and recognized as a distinguished member of the Order of the White Hat. The Order of the White Hat is an exclusive fraternity fraternity of fellow 819 Red Horse members who have honorably and selflessly served their country and state and are so recognized upon their retirement. The respected member of the Order of the White Hat always remains an esteemed and valuable partner in the mission of the 819th Red Horse and therefore after, and shall forever be welcomed and accepted wherever the horse serves.
All right, and now the moment you all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez himself.
Just give me the thumbs down. Please, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. Wow, all right. So I'd like to start off by thanking you all for taking your time out of your day to be here on this occasion for my family and I. First off, everybody back there in Gym Pop, I sound good? You hear me loud and clear? All right, cool. To all that helped put this together, this wouldn't have happened without you, and we appreciate it, so thank you again for helping out. Colonel Smith, it's been a hell of a ride. Thank you for your words, your conversations, the late nights, your trust in me, and of course some cold ones. Colonel Deloret, it was great seeing you again, and thank you for officiating this ceremony. Truly appreciate all your kind words, and I forgot about some of those stories, from back in Kunsan where Colonel Leonard, taking care of business with the hiring, forgot all about that, but it's a little blur, it's a little blur. But there are way too many people to thank, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget somebody, but I apologize in advance. Thank you throughout the years for your words, friendship, and time in me. Chief Burrows, Chief Paizo, whose son is here in attendance, who is stationed here in EO motherfucking D, John Paizo. Chief Amber Mitchell, Chief Ty Mitchell, Chief Laidlaw, Chief Dennis, Chief K. Wright, Chief Wellman, Chief Kennemore, Retired Master Sergeant Sosa, Wild Bill, Jay, Bill's Mafia Sean, Trav, 49er Josh, Mike Saleh, Chris, the Aviana crew from 07, my dog. There's way too many stories, way too many things I could talk about, me and Joe, but we'd be up here all day, and I'm sure y'all got to go get to HP, and we got to go get to some beer, so we'll keep those stories to ourselves. But there's also the Aviana crew during COVID, the Gracies, the Elams, my teammate right there as a coach in softball for a couple years, Justin. Thank you for coming from the Ohio State. All the softball, baseball fams, the travel teams, the PME fam, of course, them Kunsan Air Base CE Red Devils. All right, which, while we're there, fuck, that means I owe beer. Damn it. Well, it's back there. All right, next, Senior NCOA, German House fam, which we still keep in touch with, my Domino's fam, and of course, you all the horse family. You have all made this ride very fun, good times, and a whole bunch of smiles. Jordan, ALS team, I truly appreciate you making it happen for Class 25 Bravo to attend. I have thus far enjoyed the conversations and smack talk on the court. Need a little more practice, but I think we can beat the Sheriffs and the Chiefs. Thank you all for helping me realize this old man can still keep up with you youngins. Take a breath. Para mis padres, hermano, hermana y familia,
Gracias por siempre estar ahí y todo su apoyo. Sé que he perdido mucho tiempo, pero después de estar 16 años en Europa y aquí, estamos de regreso. Lo quiero mucho. My big sis, little bro, maybe we can go back now that I'll be home to rolling around, fighting, breaking glass, to include a fish tank. Good times. I've missed you both. I now need to listen to our recent topic of discussion. Hambu, just breathe. My kiddos Jasmine, Ayana, and Adrian, you have made me very proud. The young women and men you have become, where I can't do anything but smile. I have coached each of you since Tebow, but just know that the coaching never stops, nor does the yelling. Continue to push yourselves and continue to chase perfection, but along the way, catch excellence. I get excited with our stories and your leadership, even more so when you all remove yourselves from a toxic environment, because when right is right, even when nobody's looking, you all stand up and do what's right through your leadership. If you set a standard or expectation, exceed it, as you three know that if you go below it, we're gonna have a chat. But on the reels, or no cap, keeping it 100, you three are my everything. My energy, my hunger, my drive, my heartbeat, and even my breath. I'm excited for what is to come, and I can't wait for you to continue to make me proud. I know I'm going to be smiling a lot. I love you. Well, in conclusion, I'm finally here. I have reached my destination, but that wasn't even the important part. How I got there, that doesn't matter. The rewards, the accolades, the awards, that is now to an extent somewhat pointless, because I'm not going to put them in my new job office or on my new desk. What actually matters and what is important is the company along the journey. And honey, I'd do this shit all over again, knowing you'd be by my side. Thank you for everything, the ups, the downs, the laughs, the cries, the kids' sports, the 23 TDYs while you held it down, to include you making me mad when I'm always right. I don't know what's in my future, but I don't have one without you. We've been through some storms, but after the storm, a sun emerges. I'm not supposed to be here. You're the reason I'm still here. You are all my reasons.
30776.
Perfect. Lastly, thank you also for the most brutal, constructive, and honest feedback that I needed. I love you. And with that, 819, I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Senior Master Sergeant Rigoberto Vasquez, United States Air Force, retired. All right, everyone's already standing. And now, the departure of the official party. A special thanks to all who contributed to this important event. Please offer your congratulations to retired Senior Master Sergeant Vasquez and his family in the receiving line at the entrance to Charlie's and join them for cake and refreshments. Thank you for attending today's ceremony.